I had COVID. And I will tell anybody, because I've been a pediatrician for 34 years, and it's been 36 years since I started third year of medical school. I know what a viral illness looks like. I know what respiratory distress looks like with pneumonia. I did not have that. I had a blood poisoning. I had hypoxia. I had dry cough. I had loss of smell and taste. I had horrible cramps and body aches and fever. That's not respiratory distress. And my blood pressure was probably off. I didn't check it. COVID is not, was not, and will not be caused by a viral illness. The second thing I want to say to that is that we need to start teaching proper virology and microbiology, Paul. Because if we just open up the textbooks, what do the textbooks say about the body and the microbiome? One, there are over 100 trillion bacteria lining the body. Now, did we get them when we were in utero? No. So where did they come from? Breast milk and breathing, touching, and eating. So our exposure to microorganisms is a given. You cannot ever not be exposed to microorganisms. But the big kicker is, what do the textbooks say about viruses? The human body carries almost 400 trillion pieces of genetic material that can make viruses. So when you do a nasal swab, you can never know for sure whether the virus genetic material that you get is from the bacteria lining your nose, from removal of viral material coming from your cells, or something that you breathed in. And when we can finally start talking about the true nature of virology, bacteriology, and the microbiome, we will be able to really see the lies that have been perpetuated with COVID-19. When we learn the truth that the genetic material of viruses that are in our cells and that are in the bacteria lining our body are actually meant to clean our bodies out, help us stay well, maintain homeostasis, and actually, in some areas of the body, in women, help with placental formation, help with gene transcription, help with protein synthesis. We'll start to see that this idea that viruses are only out there and not here is false. So, when this first came out, I said, wait a second, there are almost 400 trillion viruses that are lining our bodies and inside the cells. And we're fine. What's different about this thing they're calling a virus? And no one can answer that. Oh, it's novel. Well, how is it novel? Well, it just is. Well, but are you aware that the actual SARS-CoV-2 genetic material was calculated from a computer program and was not really isolated as a true virus? No, I wasn't aware of that. Are you aware that you can't see a virus with the naked eye? You can't see a virus with a microscope? And you don't even know if what you're looking at in an electron microscope is actually a virus, because it's a millionth of an inch long that you've got in 2D perspective. That's just a blob on a piece of paper. So you can't know that that's a virus at all. No one has ever watched a virus in action. We have to start looking at the body as a host for hundreds of trillions of microorganisms, and that those microorganisms are actually playing a role in keeping us healthy. And so one of the most fascinating things about Western medicine is that we ignore two factors that actually make up most of how the body functions: the diet and the environment. And so, right. And the spirit of the child, the emotional, psycho-spiritual makeup of the children, which is also very important. But we have to start practicing the science of the body. And the science of the body is material comes in, the body has to discern safe, not safe, pure, not pure. And the body has to do its due diligence to make sure the purities stay and the impurities leave. And then when the purities are used, the impurities that are formed from those purities are also removed. And so it's a balance of scale, Paul. All we have to do is to start recognizing the load of information we give to kids and what they get that sensitizes them or not, and be able to maintain their resilience and their strength and their core constitutions, and be able to measure how well they can sustain the load and the sensitivity with their reserves and their resilience. And children who are not poisoned have a much easier time with this. And children who are not poisoned, who are playing in the dirt and have animals, are even better at it, right? Because we know the studies that show kids on farms, kids with pets, kids who play in the dirt are generally healthier, right? And
absolutely.
So that's our job. Our job is to start showing parents what the body is made of and how it needs to be fed, both on body, mind, and spirit, and how it needs to be taken care of so that it can eliminate, expel, and excrete adequately.